Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Throckmorton, Beaten Putin Waddle with a breaking news report. Skylane's Air Flight 13 has crashed into the overpass bridge at Graygarden, located approximately 3 kilometers northwest of Diamond City. For an in-depth report, we now take you to our correspondent on the scene. How you doing, everyone? Turkey Buzzard here. I'm down on the road below Graygarden, next to where the Pulowski preservation shelters normally are. You'll notice they're gone. I scrapped them. I'm in my workshop mode, as you can see. And this is not due to the Conquest mod. It's actually another mod called Settlement Borders Extended. And as the name implies, it extends the area that you're able to build in with your settlements. And it does so by a huge amount. And I will show you that later in the video. But I wanted to set this up like a plane crash that has just happened, and that's why I used the news report thumbnail and the goofy intro. I wanted to set it up so that the airplane actually is what took the bridge out in Graygarden, and it has just happened. So that's how the build worked out, and as we go down through here, you can see that the military would obviously have showed up fairly quickly. The Commonwealth's version, I guess, of the National Guard. And of course, as we go down through here, you would see a lot of debris, which, you know, a lot of it would be cargo from the airplane or whatever. You can see one of the plane seats. And of course, medical personnel would have moved in by now, of course. And anytime you have something like this happen, of course, the news crews actually show up on the scene. So, you know, a lot of this build was setting up other things other than just the airplane. You know, I mean, the cargo strewn around, bodies. You'll notice I actually add pieces of bridge laying around the ground where when the plane hit the bridge, both the plane and the bridge took, you know, a lot of damage. And of course, along with the cargo, you will see a lot of bodies laying around here, there, and everywhere. And you'll notice a lot of smoke and fire. Now this smoke and fire is part of the Settlement Objects Expansion Pack, SOE. And they recently added in smoke and fire effects for whatever you want to use. And I thought it worked perfectly for this particular build. And since I'm using the Settlement Borders Extended, it allowed me to build, you know, not just in Graygarden, but look at this, I'm over here. I stuck a piece of the airplane up into the roof of the house to make it look like that's what took the roof out, you know. Same way with the garage roof. Here's another chunk of bridge laying here. And of course, this is the main part of the fuselage. And we have medical crews in here. This is actually the stewardesses section where they would go up and make the meals and drinks and stuff for the passengers. And back here is actually the passenger section.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, a lot of the seats got ripped out and whatever. Some stayed, but you'll see a lot of dead bodies, some suitcases here and there, you know. And of course, the cockpit up here, I had a lot of fun with this. I put in all the instruments and everything into the cockpit. The smoke effects. I mean, notice the electrical malfunctions and whatever. Right there is the flight data recorder. Obviously, the pilot and co-pilot did not survive the crash, but I had a lot of fun with that cockpit. So that's the main fuselage of the airplane. I think it come out pretty well. Over here in this, what they call the Graygarden Homestead, I put part of the nose cone up into the attic area just to make it look like, you know, that's where part of it ended up, and that's what took the roof out of the house. So that come out all right. And of course, we've got a chopper here just in case, you know. I gave the pilot the spaceman outfit, but I put actually a flight helmet on him. This is the back half of the fuselage. And obviously there's people in here looking for bodies and whatever. You have to be careful with this fire because you do actually get burned by it.
Yeah.
And of course the bathroom areas. And I had to wait to the last minute really to put these bodies here. I tried doing it before, and when I came back all the bodies had fell through the airplane and landed on the ground below. So I had to wait until just before I was ready to create this video in order to put the bodies inside the airplane. Then up here, of course, Graygarden itself, this is where the military has moved in and actually decided to set up their operations here. Obviously we don't have body bags, so I used sleeping bags. And as far as the residents that were here, all the robots have all been relocated. There's a news crew.
Huh?
And, you know, as I said, I relocated the robots. Basically how I did that was shoot them all and put them in a trash can. But anyway, this is where the military is set up, and FEMA actually has set up here. And they're unloading equipment and supplies. Because obviously they're going to be here for probably several days cleaning this area up. And being that they're going to be here a while, they've got to set this place up so that people have a place to eat and sleep. Because, you know, if you're going to be here for several days working on building or cleaning up a plane crash, you need a place to eat and sleep. So, you know, they quickly slap together some shelter. You know, they enclosed it a little bit so that there's a little more privacy. And of course, you know, the beds are not going to be anything great. You know, basically there's something that can be set up or torn down very quickly. And a lot of medical supplies, because, you know, even if they don't find any survivors from the plane crash, they do have to worry about, you know, the rescue crews and everything maybe getting injured in the process of cleanup, you know.
Yes.
So I had really a lot of fun with this build. You know, not just the build itself, but actually making the video. I spent a crazy amount of time making the thumbnail for this video, but I really enjoyed it. course, up here, you're normally outside the border area. But notice, even though I'm outside the border area, I can access my workshop mode. And I've gone a ways, you know, in workshop mode, but I haven't really tested the boundaries to see just how far I could go. I mean, here's Jalbert Brothers Disposal. I'm up here and no problem, you know, I'm in my workshop mode and it's not a problem. Over here in the trees is these couple of houses where the 3 Yalgwai attack you, and of course they did, and I had to kill them. But I came up here, and some stuff you can scrap and some you can't. There was some furniture in here that I got rid of, but there's also some stuff that you can't scrap. And I do have the Scrap That Settlement mod, and that helped a lot, but as I said, sometimes you can't scrap stuff. But I really love those mods because, you know, being able to come way up here and build stuff is great. And as far as food, you know, I just, using Better Stores, I put some deer in over there, and it's 30 food. Because, you know, these guys won't be farming. They're not living here. They're not residents. They're here to clean up a plane crash, and once it's done, they're gone. So, you know, I can't see setting up mute fruit plants and all kinds of stuff for these guys because they wouldn't be here long. And as far as these Pulowski preservation shelters, rather than use them for preservation shelters, I used them for porta potties. I think, you know, they look better than the actual outhouses from the barn section because, you know, these guys are not farmers. They're not using outhouses. They're using porta potties. But I really like how this came out. I had a lot of fun building it, and I had a ton of fun creating the video. I think what really made it so enjoyable was the fire and smoke effects, which allowed me to do something different than usual, you know. But as I said, I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. Also, subscribe for more videos. I put out a new video every week. But I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next week.